The Chennai Super Kings, reigning champions of the IPL, set to defend their title in 2019. Does that squad still have the strengths that it did last season? Are there any apparent weaknesses? The X Factor players to watch out for? And of course, Sanjay Manjrekar and Brad Hodge will both pick their ideal 11s. And who should bet against Chennai and see where they'll finish? Let's get this conversation rolling by first having a look at their squad. And MS Dhoni, we know, likes a sense of familiarity. Players that he's seen before. He's seen a lot of Murli Vijay. Ambati Raidu had a sensational IPL 2018. Suresh Raina's the Don Bradman of the IPL with the sort of numbers that he's had. Faf du Plessis was big for them in the playoffs. Shane Watson's coming from a rich vein of form in the PSL. They got a couple of Indian reserve batsmen too. Sam Billings won them a game of his own bat last time. MS Dhoni will of course lead this side. And you look at the all-rounders, Bravo, who's now focusing on 2020 cricket. Mitchell Santner was retained in spite of being ruled out last season with injury. David Willey, the left-arm seamer, can also smack it around a bit. And Kedar Jadhav, Ravindra Jadeja, the established Indian all-rounders. More bowling options in addition to David Willey would be the likes of Lungi Ngidi, who had his share of contributions too. Shardul Thakur and Deepak Chahar, along with Mohit Sharma this season, could carry the mantle for India seamers. Asif also had a few games as towards the end of last season, and it will be between Harbhajan Singh and Karan Sharma for the Indian spinner. Imran Tahir also an option if you want to go for an overseas spinner. Right, Sanjay. This team, I didn't give it a chance last season. I don't know. I don't think you did either. But we are all standing corrected. And are we still looking at a team that's capable of winning the IPL twice in a row?
Yeah, and the reason why we didn't believe that CSK would win is that they seem to have just gone with their tried and tested players. And you're worried that, because all of them are past their prime.
Yes.
I mean, they picked Harbhajan Singh, for God's sake. So you can see a lot of emotions and attachment coming into play. But I tell you what, if it was not Mahendra Singh Dhoni leading that CSK team with the kind of players that they had, I don't think they would have won the IPL. He managed to use them well. Use of Shardul Thakur and Chahar also tells you about Dhoni being the one man who made it possible. They didn't have a champion team to begin with. And this year, nothing's changed much. And the thing about aging players is they might look brilliant one year, but because they're not playing as much international cricket, age not on their side, they could just fall off the next season. So we'll have to see what happens.
What are your expectations from Chennai, Hodge, this year?
Yeah, I totally agree with Sanjay, actually. I mean, from what I know in T20 cricket, it's more experience that gets the job done in terms of inexperience. So, yeah, I think Dhoni and his crew have put together a pretty good squad last year, but it's what's going to happen this year. I thought we were going to see a lot of vulnerability in the field. They're actually quite good in the field. I mean, they weren't outstanding, but they got the job done. There's some flexibility in that unit. They've got a deep batting unit, and it's more so the leadership of Dhoni which gets the best out of this unit. He's probably the only one that can. Yeah, let's wait and see. It's all about how they roll into this season, whether they can get off to a good start or not and keep the momentum through to the finals.
Yeah, nobody better than you, Brad Hodge, to talk about the value of experienced players in 2020 cricket. Are you picking any of these slightly seasoned players in your X Factors for this team?
Well, I have. I've gone for the evergreen Shane Watson, only on the fact that, look, I saw him smack him around a little bit in the Big Bash, and his PSL form has been pretty good. So he seems to be getting better with age, like a fantastic dark red wine, Shane Watson. So he was brilliant last year, got the job done in the final, and I think it'll do the same again this year.
Yeah, he's coming off a stellar run in the PSL, leading run scorer this year. Have you gone for a Watson as well? Have you gone for other established seasoned names that MS Dhoni likes to have in his team?
See, that's the danger with somebody like a Shane Watson. I mean, he played a terrific innings in the finals as well. I think he was man of the match there and has had a great, recent form. But who knows, IPL, aging player and not playing enough. So, difficult one for me to bet on. So, I've gone for somebody who's in his prime. Is Faf du Plessis, because he's been getting runs and sometimes playing a lone hand for South Africa. So Faf du Plessis is my X factor. He proved to be the X factor in the playoffs for CSK. And you know what I've done? I've given experience also, a lot of credit, because it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
If it works beautifully. Sometimes it can play against you. So what's their X factor? The experience in a pressure situation, which can also, destroy them on a given night, and Faf.
Now, in spite of Faf's prolific, or not prolific, but certainly his impactful innings in the playoffs, there would be questions whether he would find place in your ideal 11. Sanjay will obviously put him in his playing 11 for CSK. What does that mean for Ambati Rayudu, who got most of his runs batting at the top of the order? It probably means, Sanjay, that you'll see someone like Rayudu come in at either 3 or 4 with Suresh Raina, who likes to make that number 3 position his own. Kedar Jadhav was ruled out early with injury last season. You've retained him ahead of Ravindra Jadeja, who you don't have any room for. There is Shardul Thakur in that team too, and Lungi Ngidi as the overseas seamer.
Yeah, I think when I'm looking at the playing 11, Ambati Rayudu would be my number 3. Suresh Raina was a bit blow cold last season. Faf du Plessis has to open, Shane Watson has to open, and then you've got Kedar Jadhav, Dwayne Bravo, Dhoni being the floater in this side. I've got Lungi Ngidi because I thought he was really brilliant last season, whatever matches he played, and Dhoni loves him. And there was a toss-up between Imran Tahir and Karan Sharma for that wrist spinner's position that every team must have. I've gone for Karan Sharma. I've always liked Karan Sharma. There's a pitch that's suitable to him. I don't think there's a big enough difference between him and Imran Tahir. Plus, foreign player Imran Tahir rather have somebody else.
Yeah, they could be using Imran Tahir and then have to compromise on perhaps a Faf du Plessis at the top, fill that slot with an Indian player. What does Brad Hodges' ideal CSK 11 look like? Just have a quick look. And we'll see room for Faf du Plessis there too. But I think if that's anything to go by, Hodgie, you want Rayudu to keep at that position where he got those runs last season. Use Faf in the top or middle order. Jadeja is in your team, so you found room for India's left-arm spinning all-rounder. And you've got Deepak Chahar, Sano Shardul Thakur and Ngidi ahead of David Willey. Thoughts, Hodgie?
Yeah, well, I just think that it's probably the MSD factor which will back Jadu in, especially. I think he's had a pretty good one-day series for India just recently, so that form might carry him in. Faf du Plessis was an interesting one where you can put him at the top, but I thought Rayudu, who might be really hungry after his one-day omission, put him at the top. I think he might have a stellar IPL. So Faf is in great touch as well, and I think he can be flexible in the middle. Maybe a fraction vulnerable against spin, but I think that he's sort of worked on his game there and has got a hold of it. But all in all, they're a pretty flexible side under the banner of MSD. So I want to see something out of Dwayne Bravo as well. So if he can turn it on, they're a dangerous side. If not, they may struggle.
Just a quick point emerging from what Brad said, made a good point about Ambati Rayudu. But there's also going to be another maybe effect of the World Cup coming and people who are on the fringe and not yet confirmed of their place in that side. Ambati Rayudu, for example, I'm sure is playing the IPL and thinking the selectors are still watching. They have claimed or they've gone record saying IPL performances do not matter. But if Ambati Rayudu has a great IPL, I think it just sort of makes his place more secure. So that might actually be added pressure on Ambati Rayudu.
Okay, so could work either ways. Where do you see this team finishing? You still think they're good enough for the top 4?
Can I say no?
Of course you can.
Yeah, just the Dhoni factor. When you say no and suddenly I find my face on Instagram and what's that? Dhoni fan club saying that CSK, Sanjay Manjrekar.
So let's put it this way. You would be surprised if CSK made the top 4?
No, I think eventually you've got to say that they will make the 4. But as I said, double-edged sword with experience.
All right. Hodgie, thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I think they'll just sneak in. I think between them and Delhi Capitals to round out that 4th or 5th position. So once they get in there, it's a 50-50 contest. So experience may pay off. So if they do sneak in, watch out, competition.
Very well. Watch out then for the Chennai Super Kings, who of course kickstart this year's IPL and also have the luxury of having the final at their home ground.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe and leave your comments in the comment section below. Click on the bell icon for notifications.